So really, just kind of give like a little context. So were originally gonna be working independently, and then we decided that our two topics were related. And so she originally wanted to focus on air quality, and I wanted to focus on capitalism. But then figured that, both topics do relate, and so yeah, we were like, well, why don't we team up? So yeah, and so in the format that we ended up doing it in, we did like this semi animation kind of drawing. But bear with us, we are fairly new to animating. But yeah, I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Did you share sound, Manuel, or is there no sound?
Okay, wait, let's see if that works. You still can't hear anything, can you?
No.
No? Um, that is really weird.
There should be like a button that says share sound before you click share screen.
Let's see.
Oh wait,
So
it does say it's on. I think
I can share it.
okay, you want to
Like,
try
should I try?
Shayla?
yeah, you
Yeah.
want to share? Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Manuel chose to do our summer project on negative effects of capitalism. My name is Shayla, and my brother Manuel chose to do our summer project on negative effects of capitalism and specifically its impacts on low income communities of color. We'll be focusing on how the wealthier people have the power and advantages over low income and people of color, the toxins in the air, and the pollutions all around us, and how it affects us and the solutions to this problem. And so I'd like to get into the history of redlining. Redlining began in the 1930s in the wake of the Great Depression. Redlining is one of the main causes for systemic housing discrimination, which has impacted people's jobs and how they live and well-being. People in power decided that they didn't want industrialization and polluting industries in their neighborhoods, but wanted to keep making money off of them, so they decided to build them in communities that were predominantly POC and working class. Neighborhoods were ranked from least risky to most risky. The green area was considered the best and safest desirable area for housing, while the red area was considered hazardous. The only real solution to redlining is removing refineries and replacing that with new renewable energy sources. This way, for long lasting effects causing poverty and denied general wealth building for generations to come. Oil refineries emit large amounts of air pollutants such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and particulate matter. These pollutants are cause respiratory problems including asthma and increase the risk of heart disease and lung cancer, which result in lack of access to healthy foods and fresh produce. This is tied to capitalism because when rich people move into a low income community, they start attracting business, and that will eventually drive up prices, and low income community folks are forced to leave and go into an environment that's bad for their health and is going to be a problem as time passes. With the cost of living in expensive areas such as the Bay Area, it becomes harder to pay bills and rent. Housing and shelter is a human right, yet a large portion of the population cannot afford it. In many low-income communities, there are a noticeable lack of green spaces, which means there's less plants to absorb pollution and heat in these areas. We know that gentrification isn't helping because it forces displacement among low-income communities, which are mainly POC. We can see the effects of lack and affordable housing in the Bay. Health-wise, this is affecting us because the stress levels and violence and crimes, and with that outcome, there are injuries. Some other impacts include limited access to healthy food choices and transportation choices, because if these things are moved farther or getting more expensive, a lot of these times people are forced to look for cheaper alternatives, which is most cases aren't healthier and can aggravate food. Here in the Bay, we are burdened with refineries like the Chevron, freeways, trainways, and lack of green spaces. Due to air pollution, redlining, and industrialization, these all intersect with health equity in a way that harms minority and low-income communities. Inhalation and ingestions are two of the main ways particulate matter from air pollution enters the body. With the refineries and air pollution, low-income communities and POC are living close to refineries can affect our lungs and can develop asthma and other respiratory diseases. The really vulnerable ones are the young, elderly, and those who have weak immune systems. Those with underlying health conditions who are the most at risk for the most damage. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, PM is a complex mixture of extremely small particles and liquid droplets made up of acids, organic chemicals, metals, and soil and dust particles. Particulate matter is broken up into different sizes. PM10 and PM2.5 are smaller than that. Some studies have estimated that air pollution is the 9th leading risk factor for global diseases burden in the world. Other estimates show that outdoor air pollution is responsible for 3.2 million deaths per year worldwide. Every year, 125 to 160 billion pounds of food goes to waste. Majority of the food is edible and still holds nutrition values. Most of the food lost at retail stores include overstocked products, displays, expectations of cosmetic perfection of fruits, oversized packages, the availability of prepared foods until closing, expired sell-by dates, damaged goods, outdated seasonal items, overpurchased and of unpopular foods, and understaffing. One main reason why they throw away these foods is because of their shape, size, color, or fruit or vegetable, and they end up in the landfills, and yet their appearance has no impact on nutritional value or flavor. Food waste also includes the half-eaten meals left on the plate at the restaurant, food scraps from preparing meals at home. It has been reported that 20 billion pounds of food is thrown away each year. When the thousands of pieces of fruit begin to rot, they release greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere. When food is wasted, the land, water, labor, energy, and other inputs that are used in producing, processing, transporting, preparing, and storing, and disposing of the discarded foods goes all to waste and are resource that shouldn't have go to wasted. Considering that half of the population is unfed and malnourished, some solutions for our food is that we can establish more community gardens and accessible spaces like the park, your local schools, and libraries. We can use rooftop farming where we can occupy empty spaces in our apartments and buildings to grow fruits and vegetables. We are also building food sovereignty within our communities by having a choice in producing our food sustainably, which can improve our environment. Some solutions to fighting capitalism are decommodifying food. We see this when there are community gardens with these easy access to all fruits and vegetables. To maintain these community gardens, we can also implement volunteer or internship programs for community members to support and growing these food sources. We can use more public transportation, have more plants that absorb CO2, switching to renewable energy, holding pollutants accountable, such as refineries, more green jobs, meaning jobs in business that produce environmental and green goods. And we should educate others and spread awareness about the situation. A just transition is a great approach to see climate change, and that allows us to implement sustainable practices to regulate the usage of resources while fighting social, racial, gender, and economic injustices. With the just transition, we can create new opportunities with the low, middle, and high income economies by reducing green jobs that can help reduce poverty. And just transition lays a strong foundation in the green future as it fills in the racial, financial, and social gaps of previous environmentalist solutions that are relevant, effective, and equitable to our modern day environmental justice issues.